Have you ever felt so cornered, so desperate, that you started looking for answers in all the wrong places? We've all been there, feeling like God is silent and the walls are closing in. Today we're diving into a story that captures this exact feeling, a story of a king at his breaking point. Let's explore 1 Samuel chapters 28 and 29. The scene is set. The mighty Philistine army is gathering, ready to strike Israel. King Saul, once a towering figure of faith, is now trembling with fear. He tries to seek God's guidance, but there's only silence. No dreams, no prophets, nothing. God had departed from him because of his persistent disobedience. This is a powerful reminder for us. When we consistently turn away from God, we shouldn't be surprised when we can no longer hear his voice. In his desperation, Saul makes a fateful decision. He disguises himself and seeks out a medium at Endor, a practice he himself had outlawed. This is the ultimate act of hypocrisy and a complete abandonment of faith. He asks her to summon the prophet Samuel from the dead. Imagine the shock when Samuel actually appears, not by the medium's power, but by God's will, to deliver a final chilling prophecy. Saul and his sons will die in battle the very next day. Saul's story is a tragic lesson in what happens when we let fear and pride drive us away from God. Instead of repenting and turning back to the one true source of help, he sought answers from the darkness he had once fought against. It shows us that consulting sources outside of God's will only leads to more despair and confirms our worst fears. Now, let's shift our focus to David. While Saul is sealing his doom, David is in a tight spot of his own. He's been living among the Philistines, and now he's expected to march into battle with them, against his own people, against Israel. Can you imagine the internal conflict? He's trapped by his own choices, caught between a rock and a hard place. But here we see God's incredible providence at work. Just when it seems David will have to fight his own countrymen, the Philistine commanders get suspicious. They don't trust him. "Isn't this the David they sing about?" they ask. They demand that he be sent back. What seemed like a rejection was actually God's rescue mission. God intervened to protect David from an impossible situation, preserving his integrity and his future as king. These two chapters, side by side, paint such a vivid contrast. Saul, who had every advantage as king, chose disobedience and found only judgment. David, a fugitive in a difficult situation, remained faithful, and God made a way for him where there seemed to be no way. It teaches us that even when we've made mistakes that lead us into tricky spots, God's grace is still at work. He is a master of turning our messes into messages and our tests into testimonies. So, what can we take away from this? When you feel that silence from God, don't turn to worldly solutions or forbidden paths like Saul did. Instead, examine your heart. Is there unconfessed sin or disobedience? Turn back to him in repentance. And when you're in a seemingly impossible situation like David, trust in God's sovereign plan. He can orchestrate events in ways you could never imagine to protect you and guide you. He is faithful, even when we are not. Thank you so much for joining me today to explore these powerful chapters. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the scriptures. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below.